Se podrá acabar el mundo, que mi amor por ti. Se podrá acabar el mundo.
All right, so I'm going to sample into the MPC and just walk you through on how I utilize the sample edit page, on how I chop up some of my samples. Very easy and very simple way of doing it. So go ahead and follow along if you have the MPC Live, MPC One. This will work with any of the newer MPCs. All right, so I have a session right here. Let me just say something really quick. There's some drums that I already have laid out. The drums that I'm using are from J.R. Swift. The pack is From the Dirt. I'll leave a link somewhere right here. Yeah, if you guys have not heard any of his stuff, which I'm sure you have, he's got some amazing projects that he's put out, and just his sound alone is very inspiring for me. And I've been messing around with this pack right here, and this is when you know you got yourself really good sounds. You download the sample pack, you load it up into your MPC, and I'm not even done going through the whole entire sample pack, and I'm already chopping up samples left and right, and everything I shoot at it sounds awesome. I'll leave a link down in the description. This is what I have right here. I actually didn't even start with any sample chops. I just put together a drum beat. I'll let you guys hear it. I'm ready to start sampling. Now, lately, I've been sampling off of YouTube. This sample right here is by Los Galos. The song is called Amor por Ti. If you are part of my Patreon, at the end of this record that's chopped up, I already have it out to my Patreon members, so you guys can download this, load it up into your MPC, follow along with me, however you guys want to do it. But if you are not a Patreon member, just go ahead and follow along. We'll be chopping up this record. Right after I sampled this record, this is the dialog box that pops up. It's just going to ask me if I want to name the sample. Let me make this clear. Make sure if you are new to the MPC, be organized. Name your samples. Don't just leave them as new sample. The reason why is because when you're dealing with different audio chops or samples as you're building a track, maybe if you have just one audio sample, easy, right? It's just the new sample or whatever. It does not have a name. But when you start sampling on top of this and then you start bringing in different records, you start blending and mixing, it gets so confusing not knowing which sample is which. It takes like 2 seconds to be organized and name your damn sample. I'm going to name it the name of the actual record, and it's called Amor por Ti. Hit done. You guys can name it whatever you want, but give it a name where you know what that sample is. It's going to ask you if you want to put this into a track. I don't want to put this onto any track because we're going to chop it up in the sample edit page. So I'm going to keep it at none. And after this, I'm going to go straight into this edit button. That's going to jump into the sample editor. The sample edit page is where you deal with audio, whatever you want to do. You just want to trim the start and end point of a piece of audio you brought into your MPC. You could go ahead and do this right here with this trimmer, the sample edit page. Essentially, there's two different sections to the sample editor. You have your trimmer, and then you have your chop page. Trim, it just does exactly what I said. It just trims the start point and the end point, leaves you with a section that you wish to have. Let's see where I started this sample. Let's say I just want to trim this small section. I could just hit that, hit process, hit do it, and it's going to trim that just with that selected section that I selected. I don't want to do that. I'm going to just leave this exactly the way I sampled it into the MPC. I'm going to go from trim to chop. Once I'm on the chop page, there's 4 different ways of chopping your samples. There's a manual mode, threshold, regions, or beats per minute. I'm gonna stick with manual. Manual and regions are the 2 most methods that I use when it comes down to sampling, or chopping up my samples. Don't worry about regions. I'll probably make a video of that later. But right now, I want to focus on how I go through and I manually chop this sample up. Look, I'm going to take my time right here. Every video that I do, I don't think I've done this once, but every video that I've done, I just speed through this process because it's boring, right? I'm like, I don't want to bore you with how I start chopping up the start endpoints of each individual slice. It's very boring. But if you are new to the MPC, this could be a very crucial part that I'm skipping out on, because although it's pretty boring just sitting here for minutes as I'm adjusting the start and endpoint, sometimes that is where the magic happens when it comes down to chopping up samples with a sampler, with your MPC. Let me show you how I go piece by piece right here. The way this manual chop mode works right here, as soon as I hit the first pad, is going to create one slice. When I hit the second pad, is going to create the second slice. Third pad, third slice, so on and so on. So if I hit the first slice, notice that this S turned into a number 1, saying we already have one slice on our MPC. If I hit play, or if I hit this pad, it's just going to let you audition the slice that lives on this pad. Right now, the whole entire section that I sampled into the MPC lives on pad number 1. Hey, we don't want that. We want to chop this up into lots of pieces. How do we do that? Well, as soon as I hit that first pad, it starts playing back the sample. And when I hit back the second pad, it creates a chop for me. So let's go ahead and do that. I just chopped up 4 slices as I'm listening to the music because I want to follow the music. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's how I'm slicing up. I'm going to do that same method until this audio sample is done. Don't worry about did I set or chop this up each slice perfectly on the downbeat. Don't worry about that right now. Just get close enough. Once you're done chopping this whole entire piece of audio up, we can go back and we can adjust each individual pad. Watch me do it, and then I'll explain how I go back and I perfect each slice. All right, so I got all the way up to bank D, and everything is chopped up already. Now, all I do is I want to make sure everything sounds the way I need it to. There's no obvious clicks or pops, or there's no certain snares that I'm missing out on, or maybe I chopped up a certain pad and I didn't get it right at the downbeat. I want to make sure I get as close as I can to each downbeat. I'll start from bank A, and I'm going to just listen to each pad. But before I listen to each pad, I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to pinch to zoom very closely. Look, as you can see, I was way off on some of these slices. You can see the transient, and I'm starting a little after the transient. So I'm not perfect, but luckily with these newer MPCs, we can always adjust those minor samples that we need to. I'm gonna start in pad 1. Notice that I'm not perfectly on the downbeat. I need to go back a few samples. Now, before you start doing the start and end point on these, do yourself a favor, hold down shift and engage zero snap. Zero snap is just going to eliminate any clicks or pops. It's just gonna make sure when you adjust your start and end point, it's going to place it somewhere where it's at the 0 line, so the transient is not up or down, because that's what creates clicks and pops. So make sure zero snap is engaged. And then your Q links right here is going to be very important, because your Q link 1 is going to allow you to use these Q links to adjust the start point. Notice how I'm adjusting the start point with Q link 1 engaged. Q link 2 is going to adjust the endpoint. Don't worry about the endpoint. Disregard the endpoint, because as long as you are nailing your start point, that's already going to automatically adjust the endpoint of the next slice. I know it sounds kind of confusing, but watch me as I work through this. check this out. I ate the snare. The snare is back here. I should hear the snare as soon as I hit pad 4. I can see the transient that the snare is back here, so I'm gonna just adjust the start point. There it is. And look over here, I'm already a bit late with that downbeat of the kick. The kick is already being triggered before this even ends. I don't need to adjust the end point right here. I mean, I could, but that's gonna be double the work. All I need to do is keep this at the start point, go on to pad 5, and adjust that. That's it. Go pad 6. Bam, I go to bank B, and I'm doing this along the way. Now look, this is why I always skip this part, because it takes, I mean, everybody's different. It can take you a few minutes to do this, or it could take you a few seconds to do this, depending on how fast and how comfortable you are with your MPC. Look at that. Look how fast I'm going to be moving right now. I'm not playing back the whole entire slice. I'm just listening to that beginning transient, and it's pretty obvious when you see that you're off. That's what I mean. It's obvious when you're off because you can see it. As soon as you trigger one of these pads, you can see the beginning. I'm gonna move very fast, and I want you to see, once you get the hang of this process, how fast it is. It doesn't take so long. All right, so I just went through and I just double checked each individual slice to make sure it's on the downbeat and is close enough for me to start performing this. Look, I don't care what anybody says, but for me, this process right here of just chopping up your samples and then once I convert this into its own track, that's my favorite part of this whole process. I love spending my time perfecting my chops, playing back, listening. Right now, as I'm just playing back some of these chops, I'm already getting connected with this. It's exciting because I know for a fact that this is going to sound awesome once I start putting it together with my drums. Now, I have everything done. I can just double check it, go back to bank A. Oh man, I'm already finding the sequences right here. I have not created this into its program. I'm just making sure everything's sounding the way I want it to. I'm ready to convert this into its track or into a new program at this point. All I'm gonna do is just hold down shift, convert, new drum track using slices, and I'm gonna hit do it. Now when I go back to my main page, check this out. I have track number 2, which is created for me, and it's called Amor por ti. That is the name of the sample. After I had sampled it, I mentioned let's be organized, and it's already organized for me. It already gives me the name. It's not just track number 2. Awesome. I'm already ready to hit play and start listening to this with my drums. I'm a little off with the timing. I'm gonna jump into the track edit. I'm gonna bring this down a few semitones. Oh, Okay, that's gonna sound a lot better. I like it at -2 semitones. All right, look, I don't know what minute the video is on right now, but if you're able to capture that section right now that we just talked about, it's not a long process. I know it's very confusing jumping into the MPC, but do not, if you're new to this MPC, do not try to figure out the whole machine in the first month or two. Just focus on what it is. This is a sampler. At least for me, in my recommendation is focus on how to sample into the MPC and how do I chop up a sample. Focus on that. Invest hours into that simple process. Sample into your machine and chop up samples. Don't even worry about making a beat just yet. Don't worry about sequencing drums and getting these crazy drum patterns. Forget about that. Worry about that later. Just focus on what this sampler does. It samples audio and just how do I chop this up? The rest of the video, you guys don't have to watch it if you're new to the MPC. Everything else that I'm gonna show, I'm gonna probably put a plugin on the sample and then I'm gonna do this and sequence. Don't worry about that. Don't let that freak you out. Just focus on up to this point, what we just did in the beginning. Sampled into the machine, chopped it up. All right, cool. I wanted to make sure I threw that out. If you are new and you're still confused, I do have a course, link down in the description. I'll walk you through the whole entire process from start to finish. With that out the way, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some plugins right here. And this sample sounds great, but it's very boomy, a lot of low end right here. So I'm gonna go into the inserts. Let's go to an Akai plugin, actually an Air Para EQ. Open this up, and I wanna just shave off some of that low end because it's a little too boomy.
Vida mía, piel.
I'm sorry, guys. You guys can click out of the video. I'm probably not going to do as much talking. I'm just going to build something right here. Let's go ahead and add Mother Ducker on this actual sample right here. Dynamics, Mother Ducker on the entire track for the sample. Go to my drums, and on that kick, add Mother Ducker input. All right, let's go back to that sample. Hear the whole entire track. Let's hear this out. Oh, that's cool. All right, I gotta drop out those drums as soon as that last bar hits. That's cool. Right. That sound. Get it.
Que mi amor por ti se podrá acabar el mundo. Que mi amor por ti se podrá acabar el mundo.
Thank you for watching the video. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things that you're supposed to do. Thank you for watching the video. Peace.